But is he defending the crazier people like Murdoch and Aiken and those people? Is he defending the ones that became the most absurd? Is he or is he not?
He did not defend Todd Aiken, and he did not defend Christine O'Donnell. He was saying that he wants to stay away from candidates like that. But the reason some of those candidates, like Christine O'Donnell, won in 2010 and Todd Aiken this time is because these electorates didn't want some other candidate put in front of them. They were raging against the establishment here.
But I'm not sure we got a. Do you have a formula here, Robert? Is there a best way to pick candidates? Is it by the couple of guys at the downtown club, the special club where only the top business guys meet, and that 5 or 10 of them get together and say it's going to be Joe because we like Joe and it's his turn? Or is it going to be the people at the scruffier crowds out there in the boondocks that get together? They really care ideologically and they want the pure thing. Who should pick the candidates in the Republican Party?
Well, let's go back to the basics. I mean, the people should decide, obviously, who the Republican and Democratic nominees are going to be. However, when you take a look at how it's been jerry-rigged over the last couple of years, Mike Castle against Christine O'Donnell, Sharon Angle out in Nevada, when you compromise, unfortunately, has been such a dirty word right now. If, in fact, you're a moderate Republican, you're a turncoat or you're a rhino, we have to stop this type of a conversation and say, listen, if you are, in fact, an auto inspector or perhaps a Warren Rudman or perhaps a Mike Castle, you too are Scott Brown. You too are welcome into the party, and just because you perhaps may be pro-choice or pro-gay rights, whatever the case may be, you are welcome. And so to sit here in Washington, D.C. around a table and a thing of scotch and to determine who the Republican nominee is going to be is absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous, and we need to go back to the basics of letting the best person win the primary.
Well, wait a minute, we're all talking, you two are talking in circles. I'm trying to figure out why the Republican Party tends to have had such an unusual load of crazy people lately running to the point where they disturb the image of the party. Murdoch hurt Romney. Let's be honest here. Aiken hurt Romney. What's his name? Sharon Angle hurt the party and still hurts the party. I think people like Michelle Bachmann still hurt the party. Alan West hurts the party. These people are so far over, I will argue, that they make the Republican Party look wacky and loony, as Steve Schmidt said the other day.
You know, Chris, I'll tell you why. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, what I was just going to say is let's go back to Dan's first comment. Dan Senor is a smart guy, but that was naive of him to say. Look, no one liked Mitt Romney to begin with, and people don't like Mitt Romney now. He had a good first debate, and so people thought, oh, maybe he actually has a chance. But the Republican Party never liked Mitt Romney. They never fell in love with him. He just happened to be the establishment guy who was going to get the job. You look to the 2016 field of Republican candidates, and a lot of the electorate loves those people, like Marco Rubio. The electorate loves him. I'm sorry. I think Dan was very off on those comments.
But Chris, there's something deeper here that we haven't talked about.
Let's start with something simple. Let's assume the Republican Party wants to rebuild and to be a four-corner office. They want to compete in the Northeast, the Southeast, the Midwest, and the West. Let's assume that. Are you saying Marco Rubio is a better candidate to compete, a good candidate to compete in the Northeast? Where would he win in the Northeast? I'm just curious when you say that, Aaron. I'm not making you into a Republican or any kind of advocate, but when you analyze it this way and say he's the future, what states are they talking about Marco Rubio winning north of the Mason-Dixon line? What states?
Well, that I don't have the answer to, but I'm not on his campaign, so I have no idea.
Well, no, just analyze it. I mean, if somebody says that he's the future, I don't get it.
Well,
Chris, my point is generally this. Look, the Republican primary electorate didn't really like Mitt Romney, right? I mean, but the Democrats always loved Barack Obama. How do you beat a guy who became an American icon in 2008 with a guy that no one ever really liked? That's the fundamental problem.
Well, who do they really like in the Republican Party? Can you tell by watching?
And that's what I'm telling you. They didn't like this electorate in 2012.
I'll tell you who they like.
Who did
I'll tell you that they really like Jeb Bush a lot, but unfortunately his last name obviously is a ball and chain around his neck. But Chris, I want to go back to your earlier point because I think
they do like him. How do you make this assumption that they like him then if he's got a bad name?
Well, I'll get to that in a second.
Him? If they like him, you're saying they would let.
No, I'm not saying
that. You said he had a ball around his chain. What do you mean, a ball on a chain?
Bush. The last name.
Well, I know that. I know. Well, that means they won't vote for him.
Well. Okay, I don't know that.
What does like mean? I thought like meant you vote for the guy. That's why your parties have got all kinds of problems here. They got a schizoid situation. They don't know what will win nationally because the danger problem for the Republican Party is what they deeply believe won't sell.
But, Chris, there's a larger point here, and I think what it is the hard right never has legitimized this president. They have never, ever, ever said that he is an American like he is. They've never said that he's a Christian, which, of course, that he is. It is this whole legitimate not necessarily respecting the office of the president and also not respecting this man. And I think that's one of the main reasons why you see some of the hard right coming out, like Sharon Angle.
Let me tell you why do you think this country is ready to elect a president who doesn't believe in science, who doesn't believe in climate change, who basically doesn't believe in any kind of help to help people here who came here illegally to become legal, who basically has no sensitivity about this birther stuff being thrown around by people, his allies like Donald Trump? Do you think a person who basically takes the position that Mitt Romney ended up taking on so many fronts? We shouldn't have any compromise on taxes. Do you think that would ever be a majority party in the real near future? Isn't it the problem of the party's platform where it says life begins at conception? They should have the rights of property and all that stuff at conception. Aren't these ideas a bit loony? Isn't that the party's problem? Not this current issue, but who they are intellectually.
Are you addressing that to me?
Yeah, Robert.
Well, I'm not sure I would say
hates gays.
Well, I would not say, I don't know if I would say that it's loony, but it certainly is out of step with the majority of Americans. Look, Barack Obama won 56 million votes across this country. It was a wide variety coalition. And the reason why is because they listened to this national conversation over the last 18 months, and they decided that Barack Obama best represented their interests.
I agree. No, and also we have a terrible economy. A weak economy is the only reason they're in the game. Look, I'm going to end this conversation because I don't think it's been resolved.